Hello everyone and welcome back to today's video. So today we are doing a small family home that was inspired by some older suburban houses that I saw when coming back from a trip, and I was just like, it has quite an interesting roof. It's a bit like lopsided and everything, so I thought that'd be quite fun and something that could actually recreate in The Sims for once. So it has a more angled roof on one side that goes further down, and compared to the other side, which makes it kind of interesting. So we've got this kind of nice big sloped area, and we have a chimney that cuts that in half as well, so it makes it a little bit more interesting than just a normal house. And getting the angle right on the roof is always always a nightmare in The Sims. So we also have this garage, which I kind of pretended that it was built a little bit after the actual house was built. So it has a little bit more of a modern style. We're going to use a platform for the roof compared to the big slopey roof that we've got at the moment. And we've got a nice big back door area as well. Back garden area as well, so your Sims can sit outside and enjoy themselves. So we've got the platform. We did actually raise that a little bit because it's a bit shallow at the moment. And on these types of houses, they have the door to the side, so our entranceway is actually off to the left hand side, right hand side at the moment, but you can walk up the driveway and get to the front of the house. And it also means that you're not just walking straight off from the pavement. It kind of gives you a little bit more privacy. And we're going for a mix of some brick and some wood paneling as well. This nice thatching grey colour. I think it's grey or brown. It's like a dark colour, and then we're going to use some nice tiles to go for our driveway that look a little bit older, and then we're going to carry them all the way around to the back as well, which kind of makes a nice seating and gardening space later on when we actually furnish the back of the house. And then we go for a little bit of a darker wood for our fence, quote unquote fence, because there's not a fence gate that actually matches that the other style of fence that I would actually want to use. So I've got some windows on the side that are a bit smaller because that is facing the road and we don't want everyone to look in. So downstairs we have a living area and we have a kitchen dining area, and then we have a few bits and pieces in the garage itself, like the washing machine and some of the decoration stuff as well, if you wanted to play with laundry. And it is not broken like it always is. But in the living area we have the stairs up as well, and we don't have a corridor either, so the entrance goes straight into the living room. So I actually put a half wall there to make sure that people pretend that your Sims are not just walking straight into the living room and going in. So they've got a space to actually put shoes and coats and bags and stuff like that, so it has a little bit more privacy as well, because you wouldn't really want that cluttering up your living space. And then we also have some nice teal blue colour in this room, which matches perfectly, well, near enough perfectly, with the throw that we've got on the sofa, because who doesn't love the paranormal sofa? Is the best sofa in the game so far, and I'm hoping they can top it with the next pack. I don't know when that is coming. Normally there's one about June, July time. Who knows, something might get released soon. Perhaps it's Batu Part 2. I know everyone would love another Batu pack. Not. And it did have a built-in area underneath the stairs, which I was going to use for the kitchen, but I actually decided not to in the end, because I was just like, make the kitchen a little bit weird. So we've got a good space to make it look as though the shelves are built into the wall as like a floating shelf situation. And then we've got a little family computer underneath the stairs so the parents can monitor what the kids are doing, making sure they do the homework, not sat on YouTube watching the Sims builds. I wonder if the Sims actually would do that. That'd be a bit meta, a bit creepy as well. That the Sims would be watching Sims builds and Sims Let's Plays in The Sims. That'd be so creepy. And we have a few bits and pieces about. At the moment, we have quite a big space between the stairs and the living area and stuff. But we fill that with some toys, so the kids have plenty of space to play. And we have one of the new sideboards as well, which kind of makes it all tying together. I kind of had a mix of older stuff and newer stuff because obviously compared to the outside they have updated the interior, but we still have the old fireplace and we still have some like a dated TV console and a magazine box thing that's under the coffee table, but we also have like a nice modern round side table and coffee table and sofas and stuff like that. So it's a little bit of a mix, kind of what a family home tends to be like, so it makes it have a little bit more character. And having our little side, our half wall there, also gives us a good opportunity to hide the toy box around the corner as well, so once they are done playing in the space they can tidy it away and it becomes a more adult space if you wanted to. And then in the kitchen we're going for some nice light cabinets, and we've got the dark floor tiles as well because this room is quite light because we've got the grey and we've got the white subway tiles and we've got the white bowling wooden wallpaper as well, so we needed something dark to kind of ground everything in, so having some nice black tiles in the kitchen was nice. And we're mixing it up as well, putting the Snowy Escape with the Island Living because they have similar close-ish wood tones for the Sims anyway, so it kind of tied everything together and it gives it a little bit more dynamic look as well, because then we can actually have more clutter, and who does not like more clutter? And because these don't come with proper, like you have to go in the shelving category to get the little shelves that go with this kitchen, so I always put a bookshelf there as well, so it makes it so you have some cookbooks, easy access cookbooks and stuff. And I actually noticed that the windows were not in the correct place, so we could actually move those down so everything fit properly in the kitchen, and using some of the just plain white shelf, the classic, well, wasn't a classic at first because we didn't have it, but using that shelf to tie all the shelves together so they look as though they're actually in a set, because we've got the windows and everything. So just filling up the kitchen, and remembered that we didn't have a sink yet, so that goes in. That's a bit of an older sink compared to the kitchen, because clearly a nice modern fitted kitchen, and trying to find bits and pieces that we could put on the shelves as well, because that is a nightmare, always a nightmare, but a few bits and pieces, and obviously we could put a few more bits in the actual shelving bits that we have as well, because that always fills up. And I do like using the pets, the cats and dogs treat jars as like pasta jars and grain jars, and now we actually have plates and bowls and stuff. We can put those on the shelves, and a few bits and spice racks and other towels and cookie jar and whatever we can find can go on a shelf. Extra fruit, even though we've got like 3 fruit bowls in the kitchen, one on the dining room table, one on the bar, and then one under in the shelves. Like how much fruit does this family eat? A lot of fruit. And then to tie the actual dining area into the kitchen, we're using the similar warm tone for the chairs, and then we've got a little bit of an older, more rustic table in the white to keep everything nice and neutral, and then finding some bits and pieces that we could put as a decorating thing. We've got our macrame, we've got the nice cactus post painting or picture. I wish we could actually have that as a separate item so we could actually hang it on the wall. That would be quite nice. And then we've got a shelf as well, so we've got to find some more things to put on the shelf. That is a good kit pack to do if you're listening, Sims, because you're clearly not. To have a shelf kit. Every item can go on a shelf and it can just be full, or it could be the clutter pack. The clutter kit, there we go, alliteration, the clutter kit. And then every item can go on a shelf. If that happens, I'm claiming royalty on the on this date. This has been published. If it happens, the clutter kit, then I will know where to go to get my simoleons. In the back to the build, in the actual garage area, I wanted to have like our laundry, and then I was debating whether we would have some gardening bits, but I think having it round the corner in that nook is a good space. And we've also got the decoration box and the parenthood board in there. And then for the walls, I wanted to have as though they've painted the walls. So the back wall has like been recently painted. It's nice, kind of white, but you can still see a bit of the brick and stuff. And then on the left wall, we've got the paint coming off a bit. So we've got the orange from the brick underneath coming through. And I think that looks a little bit more realistic, because when you paint different walls at different times, then obviously the brickwork would be slightly different, so it kind of gives it a little bit of character. We've got a few like bits of sport equipment in there, we've got towels, we've got a little gardening hat and coat on the wall, our gardening tools as well, because I thought one of the Sims would be a gardener in this house, so they're going to have some of the wall planters so they can kick their garden off. So upstairs we have a master bedroom, and then we have two other bedrooms which are kids' bedrooms, and then we have a family bathroom, which is the only bathroom in the house. But if you didn't want to have laundry, you could definitely turn that space into a downstairs bathroom, just building up a wall, putting some bits and pieces in there, and it would be a very nice space. So in here it is a very nice light airy room. We've got nice pastel blue, we're using lots of whites in here, which gets a little bit too much. At one point I had to use some black picture frames and stuff to put on the wall just to tie everything in. And we have a little pop of yellow as well, which I've been doing quite a bit in some blue rooms just to bring in some extra colour. And I wanted a bookshelf in here, and it didn't quite go against that wall because it is a thick boy, so putting the wardrobe actually on that wall was a little bit more space saving than putting the big boy shelf there. And it also, because the shelf actually has some colour and bits and pieces and plants and stuff on there, it made it a bit more interesting to look at down the end of the room instead of just a big white blank space. We've got some curtains up, and the actual curtains that go over the little window I wanted to match up with the bed, so it actually made a little bit more of a feature of the bed, but also functional for closing the curtain over that window as well, so you don't get too much light in here. Adding in some plants and everything, which really adds a lot to a build, and especially the ones with the blue glass as well. The only time it's acceptable to have blue glass in The Sims is on those jars, not the windows we got from City Living, where we're just like, yay, industrial windows, oh, it's got blue tinted glass, we can never use these, and cries. And then we bring in some black as well with the frames, which just tie everything in with that room, and it's a very nice room, if I do say so myself. And then in the bathroom we have two double sinks, and we've got a bath shower combo as well, because obviously you need a quick shower or you need a proper bath, because it's quite a thin thin space. It does go into one of the bedrooms as well, so there's extra bit for the bathtub and a few bits and pieces. We've got a laundry basket up here as well, which I think is the only one in the house, so you might have to add one in downstairs where the laundry stuff is, or just move it downstairs, and then the Sims don't have to walk all over the house just to get all the laundry. So in this bedroom we're going for a very red theme in here and using a lot of the tiny living stuff, so this is a bit more of a young kid's bedroom. So we're gonna have toys, we're gonna have the cardboard doll's house in here because that all fits with the reds and the browns and the yellows that we've got going on in here. And they've got a nice desk to do their homework. We've got this like yellowy brown rug as well, kind of helps tie in the yellow that we've got on the wall, and then some of the darker reds that we're going to have going on. So we've got one of the new sliding wardrobes that we actually changed to red, like a darker red that's more with the like the woods and stuff, and then adding in everything everything that we need toy wise, because obviously we've got to have a lot of things to do. And I think someone recently made a new CC pack that was a kids room. I was like, we had the kids stuff like ages ago, but I don't think like we've barely had anything. We haven't had anything for like teens except for in Parenthood, and that was only like moods and stuff and clothes. We haven't really had like a teen pack or a proper kids pack or a we had the toddler stuff, but we've not really had anything for the kids. Like near enough everything is for adults or young adults, which is a bit sad, neglecting our kids. And every life stage should be fun, because we have the knitting stuff for the older Sims. Well, not just for the older Sims, but it's kind of a more older Sims vibe, but we don't have much for the other end. And then this is our second bedroom, so we're going for like pastel edit in here, some purples, some pinks, got the nice mint green. This one's a bit of an older Sim because they're a lot cleaner, they don't have any toys, and they've got a few guitars as well that are in their room. They've got a smaller desk as well that matches with the cupboards and everything, so as a bit of a thinner, smaller room, but it has not as much stuff in it as the other one. And it's got you have a few cushions in, so they can sit with their friend and they don't have to hang out with their uncool parents downstairs getting in the way. And two guitars, because you can never have one. And then this purple rug ties everything together in the room and makes it nice and cozy as well, and just making sure everything has its own space and is not clipping through anything, and just a few bits and pieces about to make it look as though a Sim actually lives in there, because that is always the problem. And then in the hallway, it's quite a dark hallway, and well, landing space, it's not a hallway, but it's putting in a few bits and pieces that make it look lived in. So we've got a shelf, we've got a mirror that actually has to move to the other side of the room, because we put in a nice big plant and it takes up way too much of the space. So we only have a tiny window in this space, so it's quite dark, and put another light in just to make sure. And we actually have two tiles one side and one tile the other, so it's a bit off, but it is a good functional space. And then outside we have our eating area. We're gonna have one of the old school barbecues, and we've got a bench as well. And then we're gonna have some of the wall planters. We're gonna put in the same color as the little station, so it looks as though they're growing things, or going to grow things on the wall. Kind of hides the brick as well, so we've not got like too much space on, like empty spaces on the wall. We've got our swing set, so there's something to do for the kids outside. and we're going to have some trellising to grow some vines up the wall, and we're going to put a actual like wall bit, like some roofing, small roofing over the sliding door as well, because that side of the house is quite flat because we have the chimney on the front, which makes it a little bit more detailed. So one of the things in The Sims that I would wish they would have more facades and more like 3D bits that you can put on walls and stuff to make it a little bit more interesting, because in The Sims 3 they had that sort of stuff that you could use to make it a little bit more interesting and real. And then this end we have our little plants, so you can sit there, have a coffee, look at the plants, the bees, the butterflies flying by. Then out the front we don't have too much stuff going on, just have some grass, lots of bushes and a little grass thing, bush growing up. And we put our car, and that is near enough it for the outside. Obviously some drain pipes, so we looking realistic. And this is where I was like, oh, I can add a little thing over the door and make it look as though it is has some shelter and some interest in it. So let us jump into the screenshots and have a look at everywhere from a Sims perspective. We can actually see the layout as well. So there's our upstairs and our downstairs. So we jump into the entranceway, which has everything, our living space, different angles, our kitchen, dining room, which is actually quite big considering this house. And then we've got our utility area in our garage, and then we've got the master bedroom, and then we have our bathroom, and we have our older kids bedroom a little bit close up, and then our kids bedroom. Then we will jump outside. So I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, feel free to give it a like and